to properly investigate this type of case. That is first. And no matter, I don't care, people are going to condemn me and say, I can't believe you're doing this. They're talking about Hawkins County. Listen, I'm a realist. I don't tell you what you want, what you feel you need to hear. I tell you what you need to hear. Okay. I don't sugarcoat stuff. It is what it is. This is the reality of the situation. It is a broke community. If you do not have resources to investigate a case, i.e. don't have the money in the bank, you can't investigate the case properly. Just because you're a government doesn't mean money grows on trees. You know, it corrupt. Yes, no, perfect. They're corrupt as hell. That was the next thing. You see a lot of officials. There's a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, a lot of people with a lot of problems in that area. A lot of people that do terrible things to people go out in that area. To be honest with you, I feel bad for the good Christian people and the good-hearted people that get up every day in that community and have to go to work and live around that trash. I feel bad for them. There's a lot of trash in Hawkins County. I can tell you that. I saw it firsthand. Bad people. People that do terrible things to one another. Then do terrible things to children as well. Lots of them. Seems like something's in the water out there in Hawkins County when it comes to the children of Hawkins County. Keep your children close, folks, if you live in that area. Keep your children close. Hover, and then hover some more if you're in Hawkins County. So those are the first things that I think that are really hindering this case. The next portion is as I learned working with Layla Santinello and speaking to people and asking them, because let's face it, it is my belief. That doesn't mean just because it's my belief that it's true, but it's my belief that Layla Santinello is no longer with us. There's reasons why I believe that. There's stuff that lean me to that direction. But either way, that is just based upon the information I've got. There's still a possibility she could be out there, that she could be SA'd, HA'd, HT'd. You know, there's just a lot. Okay. But the information that we got, it appears that she is no longer with us. And so some of the questions that I asked the locals, unfortunately, and I know this is probably going to upset some people, but it is the reality of the situation and the work that I do. I asked the people, you know, where can you dump a body? Right? I'm going into communities I've never been before. I don't know the secret, dirty, you know, underbelly of the areas. I don't know where they're located. You know, the only way I'm going to find out that is to ask. That's how I find out. So while I'm out in Kingsport, Tennessee, trying to find out where would be a reasonable place to dump a body, sad to say, that's what we're looking for, we learn the best place to dump a body in and around that area is Beach Creek. Beach Creek in Hawkins County. Beach Creek happens to be the place that Summer Wells disappeared from. When I heard that, like, we knew we were probably most likely never going to find her, but I have to tell you the little bit of hope that I did have that she would be found in those conversations. This was well known. This is not something that one person said. This is something several people said. And when I heard that, the last little glimmer of hope of finding that poor baby just kind of disintegrated. I'll be honest with you. Within me, it just kind of disintegrated, and it makes me sad. It does. It's that moment that you realize you may never find her, that you may never be able to let her rest at peace and pray to God that she's buried in a beautiful area. You know, at this point, that's really, it's sad. But that's what we heard. We heard that that's the place that if you really wanted to get rid of somebody, that's where you'd go. And we've heard that before, but we didn't believe it. You know, we believed it because at the time, a lot of people were talking to us about a bunch of stuff. If we go there, you know, they shoot first, ask questions later, you know, all these horrible things that you could imagine that we heard for us just wanting to go in and help a family, right? So we didn't know what we could or could not believe. So we heard those things at the time. But I think that even in our you know, ignorance in being naive, we still thought that she would be found. I I don't know if she's going to ever be found. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if she'll ever truly be found. And even more so, why we need to get this case out of Hawkins County and into TBI. So I fielded a few emails of people that think they know more. Which, okay, I'm not going to argue with you. If you think you know more, then you know more. Okay, but I will tell you, there's people like, oh, Hawkins or TBI is already investigating. They are a resource. I don't know people. People just don't realize when you're dealing with the government, it's chain of command. Okay, it's chain of command. If TBI literally had the person that murdered somebody in their roster and said this guy is the suspect, and sent that over to Hawkins County and said this guy is the suspect, you need to research him. You need to go out and arrest him. If Hawkins County chose not to do that, guess what? That man would not be arrested because it's not TBI's case. The investigative body, the arresting body is all Hawkins County. That needs to change. That is the first thing that needs to change. There's too much corruption in the community. You can prove that. You can prove the corruption. Granted, it has nothing, it's not directly related or linked to Don or Candace Wells. The corruption's not linked to them. That means they're not paying somebody to do these horrible things on their behalf. What we're dealing with is a community that is broke, bent, and busted. That has moral issues, government issues, bureaucracy issues, and failure to work with other agency issues. When I heard at the time when John Pruitt had to stand for the other investigative bodies, TBI, the FBI, the whatever federal agent that does the wildlife, fish and wildlife, and everything, he had said, I just wish people would get out of my way. He put this on a news thing, and it didn't resonate with me until after the Gilgo Beach killing. And why it took so long for the Gilgo Beach serial killer to be arrested. And it was because there was such corruption in the law enforcement that the chief pushed the FBI out. Remember? To hide his own corruption? Ring a bell? Kind of sounds a little similar, doesn't it? I'm sorry. I don't know if there's corruption to that level in Hawkins County, but, his son went to jail for messing with a kid. You got all these people being arrested that were in the government for drugs, embezzlement, and God knows what else. So, are we really surprised that Summer Wells' case is unsolved? They've got so many things going on in their county. I'm surprised they even have time to police their community. They're too busy policing their politicians. It's really a bad situation over there in the Summer Wells case.